Goody, goody, here it comes.
Welcome to the Cinema Psycho Show.
You are interested in the unknown, the mysterious, the unexplainable. That is why you are here.
Oh my God, don't stop now!
With your hosts, Brian, John, and Elaine.
Welcome to the Cinema Psycho Show, the Madhouse for film freaks and film fans of all types. I'm your host, Brian Condon, joined by only one of my fellow co-hosts today, filmmaker extraordinaire, John Woolscroft.
Oh, what are you talking about? Elaine's way. Oh, God. What's happening? The chair next to me is empty. I'm freaking out, man.
She was like right there, and she kind of disappeared.
Yeah, she's down at the beach. The filthy whore that she is.
Yeah. We're on episode 51. We're going to be talking about how to make a short film.
Making a picture show.
But, you said before the show started, you said that Elaine had texted you like a awesome picture.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
was it
the
hot dog picture? You know what I mean by the hot dog picture? Like where people are laying on...
Brian, don't tell the audience.
well, okay. But like it's the picture that I've always seen where it's the quintessential at the beach picture where it's like you're taking the picture from here and you just have like the knees and they look like hot dogs.
No, she, it must have been like on some kind of balcony up high and she shot it just right so I could see this beautiful, serene body of water behind her, and she's wearing sunglasses. She's got the whole look going, and yeah, I'm just driving around sucking in the Pittsburgh fumes, you know.
Yeah, those are there aren't delusional fumes. Though. Like you're not going to suddenly see a mirage.
Welcome to Steel Country.
Yeah, it's pretty much going to see a lot of gray. Although I will say today was a very nice day.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Now I don't know how Sunday will be when this thing goes live, but. I mean, from where I was at, it was a pretty beautiful day. Granted, my office is in a basement, so I only see it whenever I, walk past the window to take a shit. So,
oh, there's the world.
Oh, yeah. Light's still out. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, daylight savings, gotta love it. So yeah, our news bit is a little unusual.
This is exciting.
This is really exciting. I really was excited when I saw this. Okay. So we've been doing this show for 51 episodes.
I thought you were going to say years.
No, not 51 years.
We started with the advent of radio.
We just reached the 1 year mark a couple weeks back. Okay. So yeah, we're 51 episodes in, and that's not counting the, Slugfest episodes. So I mean, those will probably knock it up to 53. But, in the entire time that we've been doing this show, not once have we ever got a negative review.
Well, that's because we're perfect, right? That's how I take it.
I mean, that's kind of the way I always looked at it.
Yeah.
But I'll be honest with you. I kind of was disappointed that we never got a negative review. Because I looked at it as almost like when you show like your mom your artwork or something you worked on, and they're just like, oh, this is the greatest thing ever, and it's amazing, and you guys are awesome.
Brian, you nailed my mom. That's her.
That's exactly how she sounds.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, it's I think a little more.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? Like your friends and your buddies and people or they're all like, oh, this is the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Yeah.
And you're like, but I really want an honest opinion. Yeah. And I think I'm only going to get that from a perfect fucking stranger. So that's why we ask for ratings and reviews, because we literally want to know how we're doing. Well, today, mark this day on your on the calendar, folks. Wednesday, April 26th marks the first day that we received a legitimate negative review
dun, dun, dun.
On iTunes.
Well, it's about time, people.
It is. I actually,
all of you could review more, even the ones that like it.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Get to reviewing.
Yeah, but
jerks.
Seriously, you guys. I'm hoping that people will see this and they'll be like, "Well, fuck that guy. This show's amazing," and basically, balance out his review.
Or some people might be like, now I have the confidence to shit on them because this Jordan guy opened the floodgates.
That's okay. That's okay. You know what I did after I saw this review? I went and I looked up Smodcast on iTunes. Mm-hmm. And let me tell you, they got awesome negative reviews. Fantastic. Ooh. Beautiful negative reviews. You know, it's like some people saying now it's all just Kevin Smith and Scott Moser smoking pot. I'm like, when has it never been that?
Yeah.
But
you're tuning in to hear Kevin Smith, and he's going to talk about whatever he wants.
He's
going
gonna.
Well, it's Kevin Smith, so I'll listen.
Yeah. So it's like shut your mouth, just listen. But about this negative review. Okay, I posted this all over Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I was like, we finally came into our own. We got a negative review. So this is, of course, because we got a review, we have to read it.
Yes.
That's what happens.
This is the law.
This is the law.
Law.
Okay?
Little Judge Dredd reference.
We were talking about Judge Dredd. Law. But according to the law, we have to read this review. So this review is from Jordan Hale. It was dated yesterday.
I think I know you, Jordan.
Okay.
I think from back in the day, I think I know this
From
guy.
back in the Edinburgh days?
Back in the Edinburgh days of the Edinburgh
God.
Film Department, and the art department, and more in the abstract. I think he was an art major of some kind.
Oh, God.
So Jordan, I know you. I know where you live.
I don't think he lives in that dorm anymore.
You still live in towers. Oh, actually, they bulldoze towers. But anyways,
It's amazing that every college has a place called Towers, because
Right.
we had a place called Towers too. Oh, what are you doing? You live in the Towers? Yeah. That's where all the parties go down. So, but anyway, Jordan had a very, I would say, kind of bullshit review here. He said, had to stop after 3 episodes, which I look at it this way. Is this really a lose for us? You spent 3 hours listening to our episodes.
that's 3 downloads too. Yeah.
That's 3 downloads. So honestly, joke's on you. We just got your downloads.
I gotta hand it to him though. At least he waited out 3 episodes before he just said, "Oh fuck it, I give up. This is garbage." You know, he
That's
could have.
true.
He could have gone just 10 minutes and just. But no, he waited it out.
That's right. I mean, he could have easily just been like 3 minutes in, these guys fucking lame, and just called it quits after that. But no, he stuck around. He actually got through our Blair Witch episode and our Modern Film Classics episode, which our Modern Film Classics episode, I see a lot of downloads on that one, so I'm kind of surprised by his comments here. But let me start, okay?
Okay.
Should I do this in the voice for the reviews?
You know, I don't want to discourage people from writing any type of review, so maybe
So
we'll just
normal
read it.
voice?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. So Jordan says, first, let me say I'm not here to trash anyone, but I feel a strong conviction to review this because I am flabbergasted.
Oh, wow. Flabbergasted.
I think he really just wanted to use that word.
It's like, I flabbergasted. You can only be flabbergasted by a podcast that's called Hitler Had Some Good Ideas Podcast. I'm flabbergasted that this exists.
But it's true, though.
Just 3 people talking movies, and he's
Yeah, I was going to
flabbergasted.
say, like, seriously, this befuddled you? 3 assholes who talking about movies befuddled you this much. And this is a long review. It's like a paragraph. Okay, so he said, because I'm flabbergasted, I listened to your analysis of Blair Witch and Modern Film Classics. I was amazed by your guys, and he put in parentheses grammar. Okay,
What is...
he didn't know how to say guys.
Oh, so he was
The
correcting
guys
himself.
apostrophed it. Yeah.
Why don't you just say the 3 of you?
Yeah, but okay, whatever.
Okay, yeah.
But guys, narrow-minded view of what a movie could be. One of you kept saying how the Blair Witch Project has no plot or story or character arcs.
I think that was me or you.
That was me.
Okay.
And in your mind, that makes it a lesser film. Same with Boyhood. This was you.
Yeah, this is all me.
In which you called the aging process a gimmick. And save your comments for the end, okay?
Okay.
Okay,
All right,
so we're going to go into this. And that without the film wouldn't be special. You can't just take away the most powerful part of a movie and then dismiss it. It's like taking away the cinematography of The Godfather or the music of Jurassic Park. It's part of the story, and I find it amazing. And it's just as much of a film as anything else. Again, I'm not dismissing your opinions. You like what you like and dislike what you like. I just ask you expand your mind on what a movie could be. So it's not a terrible... I think it's actually like, if we're going to get a -1.
Yeah,
this is probably the best negative one we can get.
He gave a very, at least thorough explanation. But he didn't just say, you guys sound like jagoffs.
I mean,
I'm not listening.
I wouldn't have much to go on with a guy saying, you guys sound like jagoffs. But, I mean, this guy sounds, and that's what I'm saying, it might be someone from the Edinburgh, or it might just be someone who's a film guy, because this guy sounds like a film guy. Okay? But, okay, so I'm going to go down the line here. Okay, because I think he called out two very big things, okay? The first one being Blair Witch. First of all, you listen to us for 3 hours and you don't know our fucking names and what our voices sound like? Come on, dude.
Yeah.
And it's not like we're hiding behind our show title. We have our names up on the top of iTunes. And, it's all over the place.
Even host, lady host, or obnoxious guy.
Yes,
that would have narrowed
exactly.
it down.
That's exactly. I mean, and that's the one thing. It's like everyone who has reviewed us has said that they can easily tell the three different personalities. So the point is, your comment about Blair Witch. Okay. And I knew I was going to catch flack about this one day. I really did. Okay, because Blair Witch is one of those movies that there are a lot of people who are, I call them fanboys.
Well, if this is who we think it is, he's roughly my age, so he's probably about 14 when the original came out.
And that's the thing. I was around the same age too. Okay, but what I will stand by what I said. Blair Witch is notable not for the movie. It is notable for its marketing.
Yes.
Okay, that's it. It's not a good movie. It's a good marketed film. Okay, it came out at a time when basically no one understood the fucking internet. I mean, I'm being honest with you. No one understood the fucking internet. Okay? So, yeah, I was right when I said there's no plot or no story or no character arc. Why? Because there isn't any. It's a bunch of pothead actors and filmmakers who are basically pretending to make a movie about a witch. And they don't show the witch. There's no tension. It's just blah. Okay, it's a bunch of idiots out in the woods. Okay, I'll stand by that. Okay, but what I will say, and what is I wish that Jordan would have mentioned on here, and he didn't say it. It is a brilliant piece of marketing, what the Blair Witch Project was able to do.
It would have made a fantastic short film.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, but at the same time, I don't think that a short film version of this would have made nearly as much money because it's a short film. And we know the realities of the industry. But two, a short film's not really going to, I don't think, get nearly as many people. It had to be a feature. And it was really just the execution of the marketing. They made it feel like this shit was real. Okay? Through marketing. It is a brilliant piece of marketing. So I just personally don't view your marketing as a part of the movie that I should, really, hold up on a pedestal. Okay? Yeah. I just don't. I kind of look at it as, you mentioned cinematography. Tell me about the great cinematography in Blair Witch. Okay? I guess
shooting 16 millimeter with no lights in the middle of the woods, I guess they succeeded. It's not hard to see it.
Yeah, it's in focus.
Yeah. Most of the time.
But I guess I just feel, and this is not me keeping my mind closed, it's called me looking at the landscape of the film and saying, okay, compare this with other horror movies. It's not good. It's brilliantly marketed. That's the difference. Mm-hmm. So, I'm sorry you didn't like my opinion. You have every right to your own, but I have a podcast and you don't.
Baby.
So, that's just me. That's my opinion. Now, he also went after Boyhood.
Yes.
So that was your thing.
Boyhood still sucks.
Well, explain why you feel it sucks.
Yeah. I apologize for our frequent listeners if I'm repeating what I did on the show. My apologies. But if you had taken out the fact that they filmed that over 11 years, or I believe it was 11 years.
It was 11 years.
Yeah, if they had just picked a different actor or tried to make the kid look a little older for each section, all of a sudden you say, this is a forgettable, stupid, plotless movie. the only attention that it got is because they took 11 years to make it. You take that out of the equation, and a film should stand on its own in terms of, as we have mentioned 1,000 times, the story, the characters, how the story progresses, and if it can't stand on its own two legs. If you take out the gimmick of 11 years to make, and yes, Jordan, I'm saying gimmick again, then the movie doesn't work. It's just a storyless bunch of garble of unlikable doofuses.
Well, again, I kind of look at, and I'll be honest with you, I have not seen Boyhood, mainly because it's just not my kind of movie I want to watch. Mm-hmm. Okay, my time is precious, and honestly, if it's not a crappy B movie or even remotely in the genre wheelhouse I like to go to, I'm probably not going to watch it. Or if it's something that you force me to fucking watch.
Hey, I'm trying to see a movie a week, and I was just looking at the movies this week, and I'm freaking out because there's Boss Baby and Fast and Furious. I've never
Fate of Furious.
Yeah, I've never seen any of them, so I'm like, oh god, what do I go to this week?
I don't know. Go down to the porn theater. Is there still a porn theater?
Oh, there's got to be somewhere. Yeah.
But again, I kind of view Boyhood as again a marketing gimmick. It's a marketing ploy. It's the same sort of thing as Blair Witch. The only difference is their marketing gimmick was it took 11 years for us to fucking make this movie.
Yeah, and it's the novelty of actually seeing a little boy grow up.
And I get it. And I really do. I get it. But at the same time, I kind of go back to what you're saying, John. You're telling me that this story couldn't be made with other actors? Like, you telling me that makeup didn't exist?
Yeah.
That we quite literally had to get the natural... I just don't see that being the case, People have been making people look younger and older since the dawn of cinema.
Yeah.
If that was the case, that no movies would ever get made, or it would take 20 years to make anything. Think of Back to the Future. How many times is Doc old and young? So... And however, the old version looks a lot younger than
God, it's
than
a
the
new
young
blood.
version.
Went to the rejuvenation clinic.
Yeah.
How do I look?
Yeah, but either way, it's something that, and this is the cynic in me, it's something that the filmmakers behind Boyhood could put on a press kit and give to the distributor or give to the film festival.
It took 11
years. Yeah. It's the same thing with, although I will say this is more of a technological thing, but I would say like Tangerine is kind of using the iPhone as a marketing ploy. The movie Tangerine, the movie that was made entirely on an iPhone. Like, I at the same time, though, I think it's brilliant. I really do. Because it shows that the technology has come to the point where you can make a feature-length fucking film on an iPhone.
Yeah.
Whoever thought you could say you could do that with a cell phone?
Although I haven't seen the film, but I imagine after they filmed
I
it,
saw the trailer for it, and it was beautifully shot.
Did they go in the audio booth and re-record all the audio? So they still had multi-million-dollar production values, but they shot it on an iPhone.
They spent $100,000.
Okay. So the gimmick, I imagine...
So that's
like,
considered...
anyone can shoot a movie if you got $100,000.
Well, okay, I will say this. Okay, their phone they were using was, I think it was a 6. And they used Filmic Pro, which that's a $9 app. Now they did, and no one says this unless you really dig deep into it, but they did have things like different lenses that you could throw in it, and a rig and all that shit. So it wasn't just I took my phone and just started making movies. It was a bit more than that.
Like dad at the beach during vacation.
Yeah,
smile, kids.
Yeah, no, it was a bit more elaborate than that, but. What sounds better on a press release, made a movie with an iPhone, it gotten won an award at Sundance.
Yeah,
that sounds a lot better than made a movie with an iPhone, but also had $100,000 budget behind me and a rig and lenses and people and
professional lighting. Hundreds of extras.
Yeah. So that's that. But I don't want to attack Jordan too much.
Hey, Jordan, come on the show.
No, seriously, dude. I appreciate your review. I rather get reviews like this than you're a jagoff review,
And Jordan, I would happily debate with you the merits of Jurassic Park over Blair Witch if you want to come on the show.
He did say that he did like the music in Jurassic Park. He's not wrong.
Yeah,
and the cinematography
there's so
in
much
Godfather,
more to Jurassic Park and Godfather.
There is a lot more.
Yeah.
I will say that the music in Jurassic Park is a character. Mm-hmm. Okay, it's part of the film, and he's right. You take it out, it's changed the movie. But I'm going to be honest with you. You're comparing Jurassic Park and Blair Witch.
Yeah.
Let that roll around in your head. Okay? So, again, thank you for the review. If you guys want to also get on this review action, go to iTunes, subscribe to us, rate us, review. We'll read it on the air, just like we did right now. It's fun for us. It's something other than just the normal news bit, which we like doing the news bit, but it's sometimes good to hear what you guys think. You know?
So review, positive, negative. We don't care. We just want that sweet, sweet feedback.
We really do. So we're going to take a little bit of a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about how you, the audience, you, can make a short film. How to do it.
Calling all Dungeons & Dragons fans. If you like actual play podcasts, then I urge you to check out a new one. It's called You Meet in a Tavern, starring a halfling monk with a Napoleon complex, an honorable human paladin with an arsenal of horrible impressions, and an animal-loving half-elf druid whose bonds are covalent and mortgage-backed. We are four 20-somethings with dull jobs by day, letting our inner nerd kid shine through our first ever D&D 5th edition campaign together. Come listen to our quest on iTunes and follow us on Twitter at YMIA Tavern. That's You Meet in a Tavern, because every good story starts in a bar.
Hey, yo, I'm Ed Bailey. I'm here with
Dave Bracey.
And we are the Drinking Partners Podcast on Epicast Network. Fucked it up. Make sure you check us out, man. We got the Comedy Fuel, which is really supposed to be beer fueled comedy podcast, but
Craft fuel beer potter. Craft beer fuel pot. Motherfucker, man. I'm gonna have to write that down.
What up? Craft Fuel Beer Podcast.
Yeah, craft fuel.
Craft brew filled craft beer fuel podcast. Okay. Craft brew fuel. Craft beer fuel comedy. Those are not 4 words that you say normally. All right. Craft brew. You knew that I was gonna fuck up. You knew. Craft beer fuel comedy podcast. All right, so Craft Beer Fuel Comedy Podcast on.
You can find us on epicastnetwork.com/partnerspod. You can find us at partnerspod on Facebook, Twitter, and IG. And you can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, and Libsyn under Drinking Partners.
Yo, if you ain't heard and if you don't know, Drinking Partners is the crew, Epicast is the family. Make sure you check us out, man.
And we're back. That was a message from our friends over at the Epicast Network. Great guys over there. I was actually listening to a couple different podcasts this morning. I was listening to Marta on the Move. She did an interview with Rick Seebeck.
Oh, I know,
Mr. Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And
did an interview with Rick Seebeck.
Well, it was interesting how his story, because I only got through about half of it so far, but what's interesting about it is that how chance his employment with QED was.
Really?
Yeah, like he lived in Pittsburgh, and then he moved down to I think it was South Carolina, and he was working in South Carolina for like 10 years. And just on chance, a friend of his said, "Hey, you should really apply for this job up at QED. It's in Pittsburgh." And he's like, "Oh, why the fuck would I want to do that? I'm kind of down in South Carolina. It's awesome, and I'm kind of doing my own thing here. I've got friends and sports." And he sent one of his first documentaries that he did kind of in Australia at an arts festival. And that's it's a short documentary that they were just like, "Hey, let's go throw this together." Yeah. And that's what got him the job, and he's been there ever since.
No shit.
Yeah. Yeah. But Martin on the Move, great podcast, Drinking Partners. Also, the Does This Hold Up guys. Oh my God.
Love that.
Love that. They were talking about Blade. Fucking Blade. And the best thing that they said, one of the best things they said, and honestly, like, seriously, if you're gonna listen to our podcast, listen to them too. We're both in the same vein. But they called Chris Christopherson redneck Yoda.
That fits.
And it's like, that's so accurate.
Blade doesn't hold up, but it has possibly
No, it doesn't.
It has one of the greatest lines in the history of cinema. Some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill.
Oh my god, it does. And they're like talking about how everyone turns into a ninja. And like the best part is they broke it down like, so let me get this straight. Blade is trying to stop vampires from killing humanity, yet they have so much blood. Why would they kill all of humanity? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Where's all their blood source going to come from now? Like,
and not till we discover who Blade is, are the vampires like a threat. It's always the thing with superheroes. Like, none of these supervillains existed till Batman started going to the streets.
That's right.
Wait a minute.
It's like, let me get this straight. So, but I mean, I love those guys. They're fucking hilarious.
Yes.
Check those guys out. Also, check out the Talkin' Pops, also known as Go Funko Yourself. They followed us on Twitter today, and that we were going back and forth with pictures because I have a Pinhead Funko Pop that my wife got me. When we first started dating, and they have Doctor Who Funko Pops, so we were going back and forth over that. But, so yeah, today's topic, how to make a short movie.
Very, very carefully.
Very carefully. So, this all kind of came about because over the weekend, well, hold on a sec, adjust my chair here. Over the weekend, I was working on a short film for a bunch of friends of mine, the Morosa Macabre's Atrocity Exhibition. Okay, I think you've seen this before.
Yes.
And they are basically a annual event that happens here in Pittsburgh at the Rex Theater in the South Side. This year, it's happening on May 12th and 13th. So if you're in the Pittsburgh area on May 12th and 13th, you should definitely get tickets to it because it is a 360-degree living art exhibition. And we're talking not your typical museum, maybe gallery crawl art. We're talking weird shit, okay?
Yeah.
We're talking like, you've got people selling creepy dolls. You've got people selling creepy paintings, jewelry, the whole works. And
in my opinion, this is a great first date place.
Oh my God.
Because the thing is, if you're into this and then like she or he's not, that's not the one.
Oh yeah. No, seriously.
Kick that one to the curb.
Oh yeah, seriously. So, but on top of the art part of it, they also do a amazing stage show. And this year, that's the first time they've been doing it for 2 nights. So, but they do this amazing stage show that always is themed. And, like, we're not talking, like, really normal themes, like, oh, you're going to do fucking Halloween. It's like, no, it's weird shit. Like, this year we're doing Dante's Inferno. Previous years, they did Phantasmagoria, which is something I had to look up on Wikipedia to understand what the hell it was. The previous years, we did Witches. Or we did the Commedia del Muerte. So, like, Mexican comedy death art. That sort of thing. So, it's a great time, and honestly, the production value they do, they've been voted, like, best theater show in Pittsburgh, I think, 2 years in a row.
They deserve it.
So, but my contribution to them is that I basically am in charge of creating a usually 3 to 5 minute film that, one, pumps up the audience, gets them really ready to go, and 2, kind of introduces the audience to the theme of the stage show. So I've been doing it for like 7 years. My documentary was based around the show, and it kind of came about because of the work I do for them. And over the weekend, I was basically shooting Saturday and Sunday, the opener for this year's event. And I kind of thought about it. I'm like, you know what? There are a lot of YouTube videos out there. There's probably a bunch of other podcasts that do the same thing. But, we talk about being filmmakers all the time, but we've never really talked about what we do when we're creating a short film.
Yes.
And I thought it'd be a great topic to talk about so that potential filmmakers who maybe do listen, or maybe they're just film fans, are like, hey, you know what? I like to pick up a camera and try to do something. Or even if you are a filmmaker and you're like, oh, well, I don't do it that way. I kind of do it this way. It kind of opens up a dialogue. So I thought it'd be good to talk about that. So, John, how do you make a short film? Where do you start off with?
Well, what I do is I break into the house with night vision, and I just start filming the family.
Oh, okay.
And you got to bring Kleenexes because there's gonna be a lot of crying. No, it all starts with a spark. If I have an idea, I'll write it out, and you always end up in that situation when you're writing something on an extreme budget and extreme limitations for everything. When if you're making a short film, you got nice equipment, but you don't have everything. You don't have all the crew in the world. You don't have it's like, oh, I would love to make a Western, but I don't know anybody that has horses. Or I'd love to make a film in space, but I don't want to shoot everything on green screen. It looks like shit. So you got to think like, what can I write that's going to be satisfying to me, but is also can translate to a successful film. Maybe a not mockumentary in the sense of like Spinal Tap, but if you wanted to shoot something in the form of a documentary, it could be humorous, could be not. There's a lot of freedom there because it should, it's real world, and if it could be about something in a small town, so you could be shooting in your own town. So you got to write something. You don't want to not be ambitious, but you don't also not want to be unpractical about it. And then from there, you got to start wrangling everything you can in your head. My wife's a producer, our fellow co-host, who is probably swimming with dolphins right now, the whore. She's a natural producer. So she always starts fleshing things out with me. Okay, who do we want to cast? We got to do casting calls. For everything else, where locations, where do we know, where do we need to find, and just start piecing it little by little. The pre-production and post-production of a film are really where they're made. You need to get every single piece in place in order to shoot it correctly, and then the film really kind of takes a whole new life once you start editing it in post. But yeah, you gotta get the initial idea. You gotta keep it logical to some degree, and then you just gotta make sure that you have every single thing in place. We're essentially the Joker in The Dark Knight. Like if you hadn't planned everything out, it would have gone horribly. So,
oh my god, you have no idea. I'm kind of in the same boat as you. It's tough because with the Atrocity Exhibition, I basically am able to create a short film every year, which is nice. But it's a matter of, it's kind of like a contracted basis. It's not like I'm just coming up with any old idea. So it's nice because I have some sort of a framework. But if I'm working on something that isn't related to that, it depends on the type of project too. Like, when I was doing the documentary, you and Elaine kind of came in and helped me out because I kind of knew what to capture. I was like, okay, well, I kind of have to capture everything, get these interviews. But my struggle came with the editing process, which I'm not used to because my strength has always been in post-production. That's what I teach. That's what I've always gravitated toward. I'm not a camera junkie, as I like to call them. Where they're all obsessing over f-stops and shit like that. My friend Tim is basically that guy.
Yeah.
And Ryan too.
Yeah.
Ryan, yeah, Blake. Those guys.
Hey, I'm grateful they're out there because I'll hire them.
No, Tim,
you shoot what?
Tim is my go-to. Tim is my go-to director of photography. The man has a fantastic eye, and like we were working over the weekend, and the man knew exactly how to light it. We were able to basically, almost like he was able to see in my brain what I was doing, which is kind of unnerving. No, the way I kind of handle movies is I always carry a notebook with me, and if I'm bored or if I've got nothing going on or if I've got an idea, and I'll just write it down. Like that's kind of where it all starts. It starts off with that idea, and then as you're saying, you've got those ideas where you're like, these are these big Hollywood movies that I would love to be able to make, but I would need a considerable amount of investment to do, and that's kind of the tough part of it. But you kind of, I always look at what I have available. So if I know I have access to, say, a garage, I'm going to go make a movie about a garage. Or if I have access to a basement, or if I have access to, these knives and, this kitchen or something like that, then I'll try to incorporate those because I know that I'm not going to have to go through the bullshit of, like, trying to get insurance because I need to lock down a location. or anything like that. Because a lot of people don't realize that is that it, making a short film, making any type of media, you really have to have your I's dotted and T's crossed in terms of legal shit. But like with this past weekend, I was up against a struggle that I'd never had before, in that I needed actors and I needed extras.
Always fun. The casting calls.
Oh my God. Yeah. So with this film, I'm going to be honest with you. Because of my wedding, because of the podcast, because of work and everything like that, I got a late start on it. Mm-hmm. I knew what the story was. I knew what we were going to be doing, but I didn't have like every possible scene fleshed out. Because when I make a movie, the first thing I'm doing is I script, and then I will maybe storyboard, and then with that script, I'll also script markup, which is basically like lining and writing down like close-up shot here, medium shot here, master shot.
So you have your main script, and then you got your shooting script.
Exactly. Yeah. But I'll do all that sort of planning, all that pre-production work, create a shot list. And
do you do storyboards, or you just do?
I do both.
Yeah,
I do both.
Now I'm drawing a blank. Who directed Die Hard? McTiernan, right?
McTiernan. Yeah.
He doesn't, and there's a few other. I think David Lynch don't believe in storyboards, and I'm kind of in that school. I'll be honest with you. To keep it 100, I'm also a little bit lazy. That's part of it too.
You haven't seen my storyboards. Okay, my storyboards look like a 5-year-old drew it. Okay,
but yeah, I'll
see that squiggle. That's you. You're gonna be doing this, and you see your arms kind of extend. That's a squiggle.
But I'll have a shot list, and sometimes I'll even throw that out the window and just kind of like, okay, how do I want to frame, on the spot kind of things. But for me, it's a shot list and improvisation. But most people will tell you need storyboards, because that way you need to flesh it out and see exactly how the film's going to look on paper before you start shooting. So some people are for storyboards, some aren't. And then there's animatics, which is
that's
visual
insane.
Storyboard. Yeah,
that's honestly, I did an animatic once. You remember in grad school when I did an animatic?
Yeah.
And you're like, fuck you.
I started getting shivers. Yeah.
Like, you fucking asshole.
And you could see these, like, if you're listening to this and you've never made a film but you want to take a look at it, grab like any movie, recent movie off of your movie shelf. There's probably a special feature where there's animatics in there. Red Dragon, I don't know why that one pops into my head.
That has an animatic?
Yep, there's I think it was the opening scene, so no spoilers really, because it's the opening scene of the movie. But when Edward Norton's character captures Hannibal Lecter, there's the animatic of that opening scene. So if you own Red Dragon, you can check out that animatic.
Yeah. But no, I've only done an animatic for that one project. I haven't ever done one since.
I had to do them in undergrad. Ugh.
Yeah. Well, did you have to like make the things move around in the animatic too? Or did you just have to line the shots up?
I think we got big props if we did, but you didn't have to.
Yeah.
We basically would do the storyboards and then scan them and then put audio in.
Oh, it's terrible. But no, I've always storyboarded because before I got into film, I was mostly into fine arts. Mm-hmm. So I did drawing, and I did painting and sculpture and all that stuff. And as I said, I'm a post person. So for me, I need to see where the edit is beforehand. I need to absolutely see that. And it's not that I won't, deviate from that, because I typically do. I did over the weekend. And honestly, like what I end up doing is I end up planning more shots than I know I'm actually going to need or use. Mm-hmm. Like a lot of close-ups and reversals and, medium shots. And I'm like, oh, well, I can just, axe this. And that, but I've come from a school of thought of, getting as much coverage as possible.
Yes, that is absolutely a necessity.
Which some people don't know what the hell coverage is. So you want to explain what coverage is?
Yeah. Well, when you're shooting, you may think, okay, this person has a line here, and then this person has a line, and then I might get a shot of the whole room, and then I'm done. But you might get that in post, and you realize, oh, this person look down too quickly and I don't have something to cut to, or we don't have an ending shot. It's just like it's the opposite of cutting hair. You know, we can always cut hair off. We can't put it back on. It's the same thing with shooting. Like if you shot it and you don't have any time for reshoots, if the footage isn't there, you can't complete it. So you would always want more than you need. And even if the actor's getting tired because it's 1 a.m., you know, just tell them to soldier on. They agree to do this. Maybe they're being paid. Maybe they're just, you know, doing it for the credit. But just tell them to soldier on, because you don't want to be caught short by not having a shot in the movie. We mentioned Godfather, interestingly enough, at the top of the show. George Lucas was helping Francis Ford Coppola because he was stuck because he fell short on footage. And they had shots where, you know, people were walking down halls and then they'd walk out of frame, and they would take about 5 seconds before they would cut the shot. And they needed to build tension in the hospital, so they took the 5 seconds of each hallway where there's nobody in the shot, and they took that and then cut one hallway to another, to another, to another, to build up the tension. And it was just scrap footage they had because they, you know, didn't yell cut right away.
Right.
So, you know, you want to have it, but sometimes you can also improvise with it as well, of just extra footage that you would have in that kind of situation.
Do you shoot a wide first, John?
Well, something to take into consideration too, don't shoot your film like it's a TV show. You don't want to just shoot wide, medium, close up, another medium, close up, and then wide back out again. You know, you also don't want to have to try to be Federico Fellini over here and have the shot like swooping from below if it's not necessary, and then all of a sudden it's above the actors. Like, you know, it's got to be logical to the scene, but you also don't want to shoot it like it's a television show. Me personally, I always get a complete wide, even if it's like say if it's a wedding, even, you know, an industrial project like that, I will always have a camera that's on a wide shot for the wedding. And of course you can see me running through the shot with my handheld camera. So that way, if it's like, oh, I don't really have a good cut here between the bride and groom, I'll just go to the wide shot again. Yeah. So you do want to have the safety wide. So I do use a wide.
I always do a wide. I have to. And I mean, you could say it's because like I came from the TV background, you know, my background's in television production. Yeah. So it's like that's kind of where I come from. But at the same time, I want to make that wide interesting.
Yeah.
You know? So what do you do with that? It's how you frame people within the scene. You know? Over the weekend we were doing wides, but it's like, okay, well the wide needs to be here. So how are we gonna enter that wide? That's how you change it up. That's how you make it different than television. Yeah. It's not just on sticks and that's it. Yeah. It's, are you okay? You're going to tilt up? You're going to tilt down? You're going to pan
sticks
into it?
Sticks is tripod for everybody.
Sticks is tripod. Sorry, guys. We're using film lingo today. But yeah, it's like, how do you add movement to that frame to make it somewhat different than just a regular old stationary shot that maybe only TV would have? But yeah, I always, and that's kind of the one thing I did differently on this shoot that I never do, is I actually Excel spreadsheeted my whole shot list.
Ooh,
yeah, I
fancy.
did. I did the whole like call sheet thing.
Yeah.
So like for those of you who aren't familiar with call sheets, whenever you're on I'd say a medium size production, you know, I don't think that you know, 3 guys are going to be able to would do this. They probably just do a notebook, which is what I did up until this shoot on Saturday. But a call sheet is basically laying out what the entire day's agenda is. You know, from who is going to be there, what time everyone should be there, what characters, what scenes you're covering. And I did it where it's kind of a quasi call sheet also with shot list, because I listed every single shot we were doing for each scene. So like we were doing this whole tent revival thing, and that encompasses like 4 different segments.
Yeah.
So, you know, we had 4 different segments, and I'm going through each segment saying, okay, which one is the first one we're going to do because it's the easiest? Well, that's a wide, obviously, because it gets all the action. And then I can do that, cut in here or there. So, I mean, it helps with basically scheduling out how your day is going to go. Because the one biggest thing that's going to trip you up when you're making a movie is time. And money, too. Money will always trip you up.
Yeah, money and time battle for what is the...
They really do.
For what's tripping you up the most, yeah.
Yeah, but like, on big sets, it's not that big a deal, though. I think with time, it's not that big a deal, because everyone says, just throw more money at it. You know, that's why you got movies that are like $100 billion or something like that.
Yeah. Transformers cost $300 million to make, made $8 gazillion.
Yeah. But, you know, with time, you've got people who are, you know, they're either unpaid or they're paid, and, you know, they're standing around and, like, you're like, okay, we can get the shot off, and, oh, no, we're taking time setting lighting, so it's a pain.
And it's easy if you have, like, a lot of local actors that you worked with, or there are a lot of your buddies, like, to kind of lose track of time or schedules. But if you are, like, you know, I know a lot of filmmakers that will try to bring in, like, C-list or D-list people so they can get distribution, you know, anybody with any level of name. And even if they're not, like, that big a star, like, when they come in, you got to be, okay, we got to be laser focused because we're bringing in, quote unquote, a star. And all of a sudden, then everything has to be perfectly mapped out and timed out. And that really should be how you're doing every scene, every project.
Right. But I've never had any C or D listers yet.
Yeah, I've worked with a guy. I've done some editing for him where he had David Lee Roth's daughter in a film.
David Lee Roth. So the C or D list status can be transferred via, like, conception.
Yeah, I think it was Brenda Lee Roth. What's her name? The Blue Meanie from back in ECW, WWE days. Yeah, a couple of porn stars. I met Jessica St. James, who is like a softcore porn actress.
So she's a Showtimer.
Oh, yeah. Cinemax late at night. Yeah.
Oh.
Nice girl. And
oh, yeah.
I love a good cook. No, I'm just kidding. She didn't cook anything.
No, I met, I did makeup on a local film production, and they had Maniac Cop on there. So the guy who played Maniac Cop.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Robert Zadar.
Yeah.
Rest in peace. Robert Zadar.
He has a chin that you could land a plane
Oh,
on.
my God. And this guy had so many health problems when we were shooting.
Yeah.
Like, he was, I only met him, like, 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
And he's already telling me about how his stomach is solid. Like, he's like, oh, yeah, my stomach's completely solid. Like, he's like, go ahead, touch it. I'm like, okay. Yeah. He's like, all solid. Like, I'm pretty sure it's not good.
Yeah.
But, you know, like, we met Robert Zadar. I was a stand-in for Kurt Angle.
Really?
Yeah. Well, it was his movie.
Yeah.
It was Death from Above.
Oh, I thought it was I thought you were gonna say it was Wrestlers versus Zombies.
No. Well, it's basically that's what it is.
Yeah.
But no, it was a movie called Death from Above, and Kurt basically plays the main truck driver character who gets possessed by some sort of, like, demon necklace thing. I didn't write it, but I got hired to do, like, makeup scenes on it, and it was my first makeup gig that was somewhat professional. And like, I was so excited. I was like, oh my God, this is so awesome. Yeah. Kurt Angle's going to be there, Robert Zadar. And my job was basically I was like, I had this appliance that I made. It's the first time I did gelatin makeup. And, you know, I was like all prepared. And then, of course, the director's like, yeah, we don't have enough time to do that. Can you do something else? Can you do something else? And I'm like, what else do you want me to do? And he's like, well, can we, like, fake a knife, throat slit? And I'm like, I guess we can try. So if you're ever working a film set, it's a lot like that. Mm-hmm. Because there will be things that you coming out of left field. Got to do this. So, you know, I had to find tubing. I had tubing in my bag, and I had to take a knife. I had to teach Kurt Angle how to cut a person's neck. I'm dead serious. Like, I told him, I'm like, okay.
Then did he show you the ankle lock submission hold?
No, he couldn't do it.
Yeah. He
couldn't cut the person's neck right.
Come on, Kurt.
Yeah, but we had, like, the prop knife, and we had a hero knife. The hero knife was a real knife, okay? And the prop knife was a piece of shit. It was this foam knife that didn't look anything like the real knife, okay? And, you know, I'm, like, sitting with Kurt. I'm like, okay, Kurt. So, because he had to cut Robert Zadar's neck, okay? So I'm like, all right, here's how we're going to do
Robert
this.
Zadar's like, finally.
Well, he didn't like that I was using the fake blood that I was using. He had a problem with my Caro syrup blood. He was like, this shit is like, this is that sugar shit. I'm like, yeah, it kind of is.
Like, Robert Zadar, how many canon films have you made? Like, now you're picky?
Exactly. But, you know, he complained about the blood, and I'm like, all right, here's what we're going to do. All right. We're going to do, I told the director, I'm like, we're going to do these couple shots. I'm like, we're going to do this shot, and this shot to set it up. And then we're going to do the insert, which is just a cutting the knife really quickly. We'll get to a reaction shot of Robert spilling up blood, and then we'll call it a day. Okay? Robert can grab his neck. You know, I'll put tubing up his arm, and I'll be off camera with squirting tubing. Well, and again, not to disparage Robert Zadar's memory, but I explained to him what we were doing, and on command, he couldn't do it. Kurt did the knife thing after about 5 takes, doing it right. Okay, did the knife thing, and then Robert was supposed to grab his hand, put his hand to his throat. Yeah, and I was supposed to be off camera, pumping blood,
pumping the blood. Huh?
And instead, Robert's doing this. He's moving his hand around, so it looks like blood shooting out of his hand. And I'm like, oh god, you fucked it up.
Kurt, you stabbed his hand too, you animal.
And the director's like, listen, it's okay. We'll try to see if it works. They ended up cutting it. It didn't get used, but I mean, I forget how they did it. I think they had half a second of it. I don't know how I got on this tangent talking about that, but okay. So getting back on track, a lot of people talk about cameras when they're making a movie. I know a lot of people were like, "Oh my god, I need the black magic camera here. I need this camera." What's your opinion on cameras?
I don't know if we talked about it at the top of the show. Once again, like everything's coming full circle in this episode, but
it really is.
Now, as we mentioned, they did have lenses for the iPhone and things like that. But the fact that you can shoot a movie on an iPhone these days, I put some stock in the camera, but I don't think it's the be-all, end-all of things. 'Cause a lot of people think I'm going to go to Best Buy and I'm going to buy a real nice DSLR camera and I'm going to go shoot a movie. It's like you need a lot more than that. You know, you need lighting, you need audio. If you want a dolly shot, like you can try doing I just had a great idea, everybody.
Ding. That was called Brian didn't silence his phone.
You can do the wheelchair route, but you might want some dolly track. You know, there's more than just having a camera. So it is important, but it's not the be-all, end-all of shooting film. Although with cameras these days, you can really shoot something beautiful on non-professional 35mm cameras or RED cameras.
I would say that it depends on what you're going to do. If you're just making some short films with your buddies, use your iPhone. Seriously. It's got to the point where you can do that.
Yeah.
If you want to make...
It's not an excuse, though. You make sure you have a tripod, maybe a lens or two for, do it upright. Don't just, go and hit record and shoot it crap and it's blown out.
Yeah. I mean, I would say pay a lot of attention to the exposure, pay a lot of attention to how you're lighting stuff. I tell my students this all the fucking time, that you have to light your scenes. Mm-hmm. Okay? I know a lot of people say, well, this camera can do ISO 1600. And it's like, that's great, but you still have to fucking light your scenes.
You're painting with light, essentially.
That's essentially what photography is. Yeah. And filmmaking is photography with many individual still images. So you have to light your shit, okay? Get, work lights, use cam lights, which are the clip-on lights. All sorts of lights can be had. You don't need to buy professional lights. I'm not a fan of that. I think if you've got the budget for it, absolutely, go get them. But honestly, if you want to make a little short film in your backyard on a weekend, see if you can get some LED. LEDs are cheap nowadays.
Well,
you can get those too.
Well, too, you can buy what they call barn doors. They're what you can put on a light, and they have usually it's 4 separate doors that move independently of each other. Yeah, they're metal, so you can focus the light where you want it. So if you want it in a room, but you don't want the back wall lit, you can move one of the barn doors so the back of your shot isn't lit. And or if you want to have essentially a soft light, you can use from the grocery store just some wax paper, and you can put that on the barn doors. Are a lot cheaper than professional low light kits. And,
that's right.
So you could still get the look, as long as you're willing to cheat it a little bit. I did a shoot where we were at the top of a parking garage up in Erie, and we had portable lights for camping, and they were the type that the top of it didn't produce like a certain type of image. It was just, it actually put a direct amount of light, and we were duct taping them to the fence because we had a shot where a guy was at the fence, and I remember showing one of the crew that was there some of the shots I was working on that we had in post, and we had color corrected and everything, and he was like, wait a minute, we got that with those camping lights? And if it works, it works.
That's right. That's right. I would say also audio is more important than your visual.
Well, I would agree with that.
Yes.
Because I'm a audio snob.
You're an audio snob. There's nothing more distracting than shitty-ass audio.
People will forgive some crushed shots, oddly focused. They'll even forgive a slightly, as long as it's only slightly blurry shot, but you give them hissing audio or people talking off rant, and you're done.
That's right.
Yeah.
And it's not hard to master audio, too. Mm. It isn't. It's literally just make sure that you're using a boom mic or you've got wireless microphones on your actors. There's a whole bunch of tutorials on how to do that sort of thing. It's boom mic, honestly, just put the mic above or below wherever your scene's at.
Put it above because sound travels upward.
You could do below. You could do below. It happens. Okay? But sound I think is more important than visuals. In terms of if you're doing like a legit $1,000, couple $1,000 production, I would advise you not to buy a camera. I would advise you to rent a camera.
This is extremely
important. This is extremely important. I and a lot of filmmakers have made the mistake of going out and buying a camera saying, I bought a camera, I can make a movie now. Let me tell you something. Cameras, the technology is changing so fast that it's honestly, I think the window's now like 6 months.
Yeah, or less. That
6 months or
right,
less.
Yeah.
Okay.
I still have a DVX, and for anybody that has no idea what that means,
oh God!
Back when it was the main camera, it was mini DV tape. I got surprised for Christmas one year with it, and I was like, oh shit, I'm set for life now. I got my own DVX.
Then HD came along, and you're just like, fuck me.
Yeah, and I'm dead in the water. This thing shoots 4:3. I had to borrow an anamorphic widescreen lens to shoot anything widescreen, and now this technology's dead. I still have it. It's in my closet, and I don't know.
Hey, whenever
it's a
you
good
want,
tape deck now.
You know what you could do? Whenever you want to make that snuff film, where you want to make it look like it's 4:3 and it's shot on VHS. Yeah. There's your camera.
Well, I want to shoot, an homage to 80s horror movies, and
that's what I would use.
Well, Elaine doesn't want me shooting on VHS camcorder. She's like, we can do that in After Effects, we can do that in post. But for some reason, because my parents still have an old VHS camcorder, I want to shoot the movie on VHS.
I think if it were me, I would say use, because here's the thing, I'm an After Effects guy.
Yeah.
I would say use. It kind of goes both ways because honestly, it depends. Where's it going out to? Like, where's the distribution path for it? Is it just web?
Probably, yeah.
Okay, if it's just web,
this is really in the beginning stage. I haven't given that much thought yet.
I'm gonna be honest. If it's just web, then shoot on tape, up-res it to HD. If you were gonna put it out on like a theater, I would do what Elaine's saying and shoot HD, and then use After Effects. Because you always want, depending on what your output's going to be, you always want to have the most high-res image you can get. But, I mean, you're distorting it anyway.
Yeah.
So, that makes sense why you would shoot on VHS, though.
Because a lot of people might not know this, but really, really low-grade movies often are transferred from a VHS or beta, because the industry still used beta, even though VHS won the tape war. Beta
was better quality.
Straight to DVD. Yeah, like Jurassic Park, that's not going to happen. They're going to take an original print, put it to DVD or, Blu-ray these days.
Troma's going to use beta.
Troma's, they're going to take their beta version and just copy over to DVD. So
that's
if you
right.
ever, like, why does this look like it came from a VCR? It's because it did. Yeah.
Because it did. But, I would say, go online, rent a camera package. They're not that expensive in the in the grand scheme of things. things. And I mean, you can rent lenses for it, and the lenses honestly are worth more than a camera. You know, if you get a really good lens, you know, it's game over at that point.
Yeah, you don't want to spend $10,000 on equipment that's useless in 6 months.
Exactly.
Like, why did I blow all that money? There are rental houses for a reason. And if you live in a smaller town, and you're not near a rental place, like,
online.
You
can do it online.
Yep. Go that route, and improvise too. Like we said, use some shop lights you can buy at Walmart. Buy some barn doors online, because barn doors aren't too expensive.
No, they're not. Not at all. Ultimately, what it all comes down to is story.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. And that's cheap. That's pretty much free. You know, do you have a good story to tell? Is it something that you don't mind, and your friends and the actors you get don't mind taking the time to do? You know, are the people that you have involved, are they going to believe in your project? Because that's the thing. If you've got people who don't believe in it, it's game over at that point. You know, I had an actress in my thesis film, I think I've told you about this, who, you know, she came in and wanted to be the lead in the film. She didn't get the lead. She got another role because I view it as, hey, you know what? I need people, and if you're good as an actress, you know, I'll bring you in. So I brought her in as another role, and she was shit. You know which one I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's more to that story. But the point is that she didn't believe in the project, so her performance was kind of lackluster. And people who have seen that film, Tablet Tales, they've always said, like, what was up with that person? And I'm like, well, she didn't like that she wasn't getting paid because it was a student film. Let me tell you something. Student films, you're not getting paid.
Yeah.
Because I got student loans, and that's not happening. But you know, she was pissed off she wasn't getting paid. And she wanted the lead role, and the other person got the lead role, and she was kind of pissed about that. So at that point, it's like, you don't believe in the film, it's not going to work.
You know, and you would like to think that people are going to be professional, but when it's this level, they're not. Some of them might be professional actors, and hopefully they do bring a level of professionalism no matter what. But some of them may not, or they got a little growing up to do. You know, Edward Norton in The Italian Job, he was actually forced to make that film because the studio said, if you don't make the film, we'll sue you, and because you owe us one more film.
Didn't he get sued anyway?
Probably.
I think he got sued for Hulk.
Yeah, because he would just refuse to
work
with Marvel. But he is still, apparently he said he phoned in that performance entirely, but he's still pretty good in the movie. So if Edward Norton phoning it in, he's still professional enough to give a decent performance. But at our level, we don't really have that luxury.
No.
Some people might just start, shitting on the project.
I've had really good experiences with actors, honestly. Like even Craigslist ones.
Yeah.
Which that you
Craigslist, folks, is a good place to find actors.
No, not anymore. Have you ever been to Craigslist recently? When we were in grad
Not
school,
recently,
it was.
yeah.
Okay. It's all porn now.
Oh.
It's all weird porn shoots and like...
A lot of guys with mustaches show up.
No, I wouldn't know. I haven't ever answered the ads. But, no, I just looked at them the other day. I was like, I'm curious to see what's on there. No, it's all, we're doing this porn shoot and we're doing that porn shoot and we need this sort of lady and we've got... all this weird shit.
It's shot in my mom's basement. We can pay you in crab. We have lots of extra blue crab. We bought too much, so you can have some bags.
Mon Valley River crab. We can pay.
Gerald, no, Mom. I'm trying to film some porn. You and your kids want toasted cheese sandwiches? First off, Mom, it's grilled cheese. Don't be weird. Secondly, we're trying to do anal down here, and it's really crucial we get this shot.
Yeah, and you just imagine that your mom comes down with the cheese sandwiches anyway, and she's just like, all she hears is, yeah, take it. You guys want the cheese sandwiches?
I see you guys had some chocolate pie already. You had dessert before your toasted cheese.
Yeah, but no, this is good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah. Any last words about filmmaking in general and what you should do?
Stephen King wrote a book on writing, and he said if you're not a reader, don't try to be a writer. And if you're not a student of film, don't try to make a film. And it's easy to watch a film and space out. And I always hate the word, oh, it's just escape. Like, film should just be an escape. No, you should respect film. You should analyze it. You should understand it and why they're doing things. Goodfellas is a great example. At the beginning of the movie, when everything is peachy keen and going great, all the shots are smooth and continuous. When near the end of the movie, when everything's falling apart and he's on drugs, everything is quick shots and erratic handheld cameras. And there's a reason that Scorsese did that juxtaposition there. And you just take notes of like, okay, why'd they do that? Why does when they're talking about Charles Foster Kane and he's losing his money, does Orson Welles go to the back of the shot? He does it because it makes him look small and feeble. But when they start talking about something where he could come back and he returns, he comes close to the frame and he becomes, large and empowering in the film. I know it's a cliche, but watch Citizen Kane and dissect every single scene and why did they shoot it this way? Why did they light it this way? Why did they take this approach? And, that film, there's tons of films where you could say, why did they light it this way? Why did they shoot it this way? What is a 360 shot? Why is that implemented here and not in a dramatic scene in another film? And really kind of look at why they're doing what they're doing, because the last thing you want to do is just go out because you really like a Dutch angle and use a Dutch angle for every single shot, and it doesn't make any sense to the story you're telling.
I like Dutch angles though,
but
okay,
yeah.
The type of movies I make though.
Yeah.
I use it to make the audience feel uncomfortable, which is what it's supposed to do.
Exactly. And the thing is, I'm not saying anything out of school, because the guy that I work for, he went on Red Letter Media YouTube show and he talked to the guys about this and they kind of crapped on him. So Len, I'm not saying anything that you didn't already talk on YouTube about, but he did a film that was about people being hunted in the woods, and almost every single shot was a Dutch angle, even if the shot didn't require it. And
right.
Why did he do that? He probably saw it in film and liked it, but didn't know why they were using it and why they were doing it. Sorry, Len. We'll have you on the show sometime. Sorry to call you out.
I was gonna say you're supposed to get that going. What the fuck, guys?
Yeah, just make sure you know why you're using an angle, why you're shooting something a certain way, and
I would
take
say
that knowledge.
Just watch movies.
Yeah.
I remember when we were in grad school and there was the class coming up right behind us.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember one of the students had said something along the lines of, "Oh, I could never be a director." And I'm like, "What the fuck you doing here then?"
Yes.
That's it. And I think I even said to him, like, "Do you watch movies?" And he's like, "Well, it doesn't work that way." I said, "No, it kind of does."
Yeah.
Films, the more movies you watch, and TV too. I mean, honestly, TV's getting to that point now where it's almost in the same vein as film.
Yeah, it wasn't for the first 40 years
no,
of TV,
it
but
wasn't.
now these days, yeah.
These days they're really the line is very, very small. But I would say the more movies you watch, the more you're going to start to see the patterns that filmmakers use. Filmmaking it's an art form in the sense that the filmmaker comes in with a set of tools and they decide whether or not they want to use those tools. And there are rules. I'll be honest with you. There are rules, but the filmmaker also knows when to break those rules, you know? Yeah. So studying film, watching movies, and not just, as you said, using it as an escape. I wish I could. To be perfectly honest with you, I'm like Mark Twain. Mark Twain said that he had a romanticized version of the Mississippi River when he was a kid, and as he started working on the Mississippi River, he lost that romanticized version. I'm at the point where I've seen so many movies and I made them, and I know how the industry works and everything like that. That when I can't sit down and just watch it, be like, oh well, I'm not going to pay attention to this shot or that camera movement, Yeah. I mean, obviously, if it's like a blockbuster, there's not a whole lot of substance there in the first place. But if it's something that's got a little bit more weight to it,
yeah,
I'll notice those things. I'll notice why they use color here, or why they did that edit, or why they did that pacing, or why they did that camera angle. Like that sort of stuff that once you kind of dip into it, you're never quite the same.
Yeah.
And
don't be afraid to fail.
That's true too.
That's where you will learn the most. If you're sitting there and people are giggling, or just you feel like they're losing their attention, or you're just watching it and you're like, oh god, the boom mic or light stands in this shot, and you won't do it again.
No, you won't
do
because,
it right the next time.
Because every film that you make is a stepping stone to something bigger. That first short film you make is going to be shit. I have my short film. I don't show it to anyone. It's on VHS tape, and
all the way back to VHS.
It was the one I made in high school, my senior year. It's on VHS tape. I call it my Dorian Gray picture. like if people were to watch it, my whole credibility as a filmmaker would be out the window. But it was the first experience, and with that first experience, it kickstarts the drive for you to say, "Oh, well, I fucked that up here. Maybe next time I don't do that."
Yeah.
But you had a comment.
Oh, no. You guys should see Avarice, the film I did in high school.
Mine was called Banshee.
Ooh, so we went the one word.
The one word.
Avarice.
Mine was Elm Street Films.
I'm in the
on
film.
iMovie. It was shot on It was made on iMovie.
Well, here's the brilliant thing about what we did. We were working on the video announcements that they did on Fridays.
Same here. That's what we did too.
And so we originally started to try to do a film where it was going to be like a Pulp Fiction homage for the opening segment of the video announcements, and then it just kind of grew from there. But the whole first 10 minutes of the film is kind of a shot-by-shot remake of Pulp Fiction with the lines from the movie.
Oh my god!
But we just kept going. Yep.
Mine was, I was working on a senior project, and my senior project was on ghosts, because I believe in ghosts, and I wanted to do a project about the scientific basis for ghosts. This was well before, like, ghost hunters and all that stuff. So, even in my school, I was thought as the crazy kid. And my son of a bitch teacher...
That art kid.
No, my son of a bitch teacher... Mr. Allen, you fucking piece of shit.
Yeah, fuck you, Allen.
He would always make fun of me in the middle of class. And he actually told people, I don't know how this kid who's doing a project on ghosts is going to pass. And I actually got in his face and I said, if you fucking make one more goddamn snide comment about me, I'm going to report your ass to the principal and the guidance counselor.
He's probably just a frat dude who, like...
No, this guy was This guy... had tenure. He was 60-some years old. He didn't give a shit.
Oh yeah.
He was
one
just
of those
given
guys.
up on. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And he was one of the architects behind the senior project. So you know that he really is like, he's got a special place in hell. But that atmosphere kind of made me think about what my actual project would be, because we had to do like a paper, and then we had to do like what your project was going to be. I don't know if you ever had to do anything like that.
Yeah.
It's stupid. But mine was, I was going to make a movie about how Hollywood kind of shows the supernatural.
Mm-hmm.
And that was really my first film. That's what Banshee was. It was a ghost story. We shot it in my home. We had a bunch of my friends. And I remember, like, we didn't have lights. So the camera I had night vision. So about 2/3 of the movie is shot in fucking night vision. I'm like, oh, this is so cool. It looks creepy. Yeah, it looks also like a porn.
Yeah.
You know?
Like Kim Kardashian's porn.
Yes, it does. And so everything was shot in fucking night vision. My dogs were barking through most of it, so you couldn't understand what the hell was going on. And like it was some convoluted story about an immigrant dying and getting murdered and the potato famine, and it was just really bizarre. But I spent so much time working on that movie. Like every single time I was in study hall, I was like, I've got to fucking work on this movie. Yeah. And I had a notebook and everything. But it's terrible.
Yeah. Well, speaking of barking dogs, if you want to make an independent film, don't have a miniature Sheltie, because those dogs never stop barking.
God.
I got to the point where I was putting the dog in my car in the driveway, because it was the only place, if we were shooting in my house, that you couldn't hear him barking. And then I would have to go out like every 15 minutes. It was the middle of winter, so he wasn't dying of heat exhaustion. But I'd go out every 15 minutes and like let him out and pee and make sure like he didn't need water, and then back in the car so we could shoot some more. Because there was no other way to get audio without him barking.
I think I got you beat, though. So while I was making Banshee, my one friend, Alex Sunday, I'll call him out on here. The poor guy got electrocuted and stung by a bee in the same day. We did have some lights. We had like these little clip-on lights, but it was Easter weekend.
Yeah.
And so it was misting all over the place, and we're shooting this outdoor night shot, and we had clamped the lights onto like a garbage can, and just had the garbage can kind of pointing towards the action. We only used like one part of the woods, and Alex is apparently by the extension cords, and I guess he was holding onto it or something like that. And the mist from the water, we saw that the light went out. And we're like, what the hell's going on? We're in the middle of the shot. And I was like, oh, I just got a little electrocuted. Earlier that day, he got stung by a bee on my deck.
And then he went home and his mom kicked him in the balls.
And I'm just like, it's like, poor guy got electrocuted, stung by a bee the same day. How's that work? But those are things that'll happen to you.
Yes.
Those are the unexpected things we talked about, when you're making a short film. So I guess to close it all out, I would say just go and do it. Don't talk about it. Just go and make your movie. Would you say the same thing?
Yes. Sound advice.
So be sure to like us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Google+, The Psycho Show. John, where can they find you at?
The Unreal J Wolves. That's WOOLS.
Okay. You can find me at Brian Content. I also run the Psycho Show Twitter. You can also find us on the Epicast Network at epicastnetwork.com. If you have a favorite movie or a question, you can contact us at cinemapsychoshow.com. Also, make sure you subscribe and give us a rating and a review. You saw how we talked about Jordan earlier. And you too could be talked about.
Jordan, come on the show.
Come on the show, buddy.
Open invitation.
Open invitation. We'll Skype you on. If you're not local.
He probably, obviously, he clearly told us he gave up on us. But if you happen to try it one more time, you're like, they're talking about me. Come on,
buddy.
On the show.
Come on,
or if you know Jordan, tell him that.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, go ahead, give us a rate, give us a review on iTunes. Those things do help us out. And make sure to catch our next episode, available every Sunday.
Stop riding dolphins and eating crab cakes, Elaine. You're making me sad.